Alright guys, in this video we're going to be going over a lumbar specific PAILs and rails sequence for creating and expanding workspace in the lowest sections of the lumbar spine. What you're going to need for this is going to be a yoga block and a box. You don't necessarily have to have a box, couch works fine. You might not even use this box. Honestly, you'll get a better idea of what I mean as the cueing goes through on this one. Also, I recommend a foam yoga block. I am using the cork block today because it has a better contrast and color and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about better. But cork is highly uncomfortable, very uncomfortable, so I recommend a foam block more than anything to keep this comfortable. So what we're going to do is first we're going to sit with our feet up on the box and we're just going to find this nice flat neutral spine type position. And our heels will be sitting on the edge and we're going to be roughly at 90 degrees or so at the hips. Now, block is going to come in, slide underneath our tailbone, and this is why you want a soft block. Cork does not feel great. So from here, we're going to let gravity simply take our lower back to the ground, and we're just going to try to let this lower back kind of sag down and into the ground. We're not going to actively drive down or lift up or anything right now. We're just simply letting gravity do its thing. This is going to be a very, very low level passive stretch for the lumbar tissues. So ideally we'll sit here for at least 1 to 2 minutes, if not longer, since the stretch is so light. And then what we are going to do is begin to first brace into our core, find some irradiation and tension throughout the body. And then we're going to think about our tailbone specifically as we attempt to drive the tailbone down into the ground as if we're flexing the tissue that was stretching before. So we're actually trying to contract into the lower back as if we were going to try to drive the butt down to lift the back up, but we're not going to let anything move. It's just that subtle low-level push down of the tailbone as we attempt to find awareness and contraction in that lumbar tissue. After we've held on to this contraction for a minimum of 30 seconds at no more than 40% effort, we are then going to attempt to switch directions. And this is where you may pull the heels off the box. You may not, if either one is fine, but we're going to attempt to lift the tailbone off the box, which is going to create a deeper flexion angle, so our lower back will drop to the ground as the tailbone attempts to lift up. And this will take our spine deeper into flexion. We'll contract the lower abs on top to pull us down even more. And for icing on the cake, we can try to push the knees to the ceiling. And if you're a ninja, your feet may float off the box as you do that. That's totally up to whoever's doing this. We hold the attempt to lift the tailbone up, / attempt to lift the knees up for 30 seconds at the minimum, if not slightly longer, and then we will relax. And what that should let us do is very gently open up and create better awareness and better workspace in these lower lumbar vertebrae, which typically get very locked up and are very hard to activate. So you'll repeat this for 1, 2, 3 rounds. Take your time. Less is more. This is not a max out contraction. You will not get a lot out of this if you contract higher than 50% effort. You just won't. We do not want the big prime movers and the big powerful tissues to kick in. We want the little bitty nitty gritty tissues to do the work. So for those to fire, you must start basically at 1% effort and very slowly ramp up to maybe 40% effort at the most. And even then, if this is your first time doing it, I recommend you don't exceed 20% effort and you hold these contractions in both directions for upwards of a minute. And take your time. This is going to be a learning curve. This is going to be a new skill to master. So if you guys have any questions, please reach out to me, and happy spine gains. I hope you guys really enjoy this one.